Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Holly, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. I imagine some of you might be new since this is a slightly different sort of video for me. And what I'm going to be sharing today is my bullet journal setup for 2019. So if you regularly watch my channel, you know that I love to do sticker-based planning in various planners. So, you know, one of my original things was planning in my Erin Condren with gorgeous stickers that I purchased from Etsy shops or standalone sites. And I still love that, but unfortunately I found that while it's super relaxing, it's still my favorite way to like decompress and to scrapbook my life. It is not the best way for me to stay organized day to day, especially when my life gets super busy. So I don't find the sticker planning to be flexible enough. You know, you can move stickers around if you have like a special product, but it's not really easy to do on the go. And it was just kind of driving me nuts, honestly, when I would pre-plan stuff in sticker form and then I would try to, like, when my plans would change on the go, it was just too hard to change the plans. And honestly, I got so stressed out with making sure my spreads looked, you know, photographable for Instagram. Anyway, sticker planning has really become more of a relaxing, downtime, kind of fun thing as opposed to an actual productivity tool for me. So with that in mind, towards the end of last year, I started to explore bullet journals. So in addition to obviously seeing tons of bullet journals in like the planner community on Instagram and everything, I also have a friend in real life who's super into bullet journals, and she really encouraged me and helped me kind of like set up my first one. I did my, like the last 5 weeks of 2019, I did it in just like a thin notebook. Let me grab it. Just like a little dinky notebook here from, this is actually from Erin Condren, but I had just used this to do some like end of the year bujoing, and yeah, it was a good way to try it out without like investing in like a whole new notebook. I happened to have this laying around, and I really enjoyed it. And the weeks that I really committed to using it, I did find it to be very productive and just the kind of flexible system that I was looking for. So with that in mind, I am going all in on 2019 on doing a bullet journal as like my main day-to-day planning. I will still use stickers for memory keeping and sometimes like if I just want to pre-plan my week in sticker form, but I will be using my bullet journal for like my day-to-day tasks, to-dos, schedules, things like that. So I thought it'd be fun to share a flip through of how I've set up this bullet journal for 2019. For this video, I'll kind of be assuming that you're probably pretty familiar with the bullet journal method. There's a really useful video from the creator of the bullet journal, Ryder Carroll, that I'll link down below that kind of goes over it, but really it's what you make of it. I also did read the creator's book, The Bullet Journal Method, but I don't know that this is like essential reading. Like it was kind of helpful and he had some helpful kind of concepts here, but I didn't really learn a ton more than I did just from like following, you know, people on Instagram and from watching his original video. But in case you are unfamiliar, I'll just share that the thing I really like about the bullet journal system, I put like a little marker in this, is this image explains what I like most about the bullet journal system. And that is that it's a combination of your planner, which is kind of what I was already doing with stickers, but then it also has journaling and task lists. And I would say with stickers, I did some journaling when I memory keeped, but it was very hard for me to do a day-to-day task list when I was using stickers, just because my stuff would change so often, and anything I would try to write down in advance, like I didn't want to put it down in my planner because I didn't want it to be in sticker form. Anyway, so this little image here is what I'm hoping to get out of my bullet journal, and that's kind of the premise that I'm going into this bullet journal with. So I just wanted to share that image because I thought that was really helpful. But yeah, I will assume that you kind of understand the concept of like indexes and all of that jazz, because I've only been doing this for like 2 months now, so I'm not exactly the best expert to be able to give you a full rundown. So anyway, I am gonna go ahead and get started with sharing. I am using a Leuchtturm 1917. This is a really popular bullet journal notebook. It's hardbound. I got it in black. You can see here I added some decoration to the front. These are from different like sticker shops. So this one's from Scribble Prints Co. It's like a little purple bow stick, kind of metal vinyl. This is also like a metal vinyl, and this was a freebie from the sticker shop Rose Colored Days when I met her in person. And then this is a hand lettered H, which is for my name, that the Planner Sophisticate hand lettered, and then I purchased from Clever Gal Crafts. So in the front cover, I do have my name and like contact information, so I'm not going to share that. But then right here, you can see we start into the bullet journal. And one of the reasons I picked this notebook in particular was that it did have pre-numbered pages and it also had a dedicated index section already put in there. So I really liked that, so I didn't have to create my own index. So the first 3 pages of your bujo are an index, like if you get the Leuchtturm one. You'll also see down here, I put a little note to myself on the how big the doc grid pages were. So I just put down, oh, it's 39 dots down and 27 dots wide. And I originally had that over here, but I really couldn't see, like when I was flipping back from another page, it was kind of hard to see it there. But this is kind of a thicker page, so the notebook kind of naturally flips there, and so that works. So here's my index. I'm putting in my index any like big overview things or monthly tasks. I'm not putting my weeklies in the index because that's kind of what's recommended. And then here on the back of this index page, it's like the last unnumbered page, I have my key. I'm not using the like key that he describes in here because, I don't know, I just think the little dot, the dot system is too unexciting. I like a little box. I know it takes a little bit more time to do, but I just think it looks cuter that way. And it like makes me happier to check it off when I get to fill in the whole little box. So that's kind of my key. I'll add things as I go. And then here on the first page, I dedicated this to a pen testing. This is orange and it kind of drives me crazy. When I first started using this gold pen, after a while, it came out orange and then it switched to gold. Isn't that weird? But anyways, I hate that that is there, but it's okay. One of the things I'm trying to work on is the fact that there will be mistakes in here and I can't just like tear out a page if I hate the way it looks. Like things are numbered, you know, I'm doing things front to back. I just can't keep, like I have to be able to accept my mistakes. So it's something that's like a philosophical thing I'm working on with the bullet journal. And then I just did some pen testing here. A lot of what I did so far has been with the Papermate Inkjoy Gel, the 0.7, which definitely has a tendency to smear, as you'll note. I feel like this is a lower smear pen in general, but I guess just when I'm doing bullet journaling, I write quickly. So I definitely get some smearing with that. But I do like the weight of a 0.7, but I will note, like I just prefer to write with a 0.7, but I will note the shadowing is so real, guys. So that is the one thing I really don't like about the Leuchtturm notebooks. The shadowing, which is like when you can see the pen behind the page, is so bad. And sometimes it's like hard for me to see the dot grids because the like writing is coming through so much. So next year I might look for a different notebook. I feel like I haven't found the perfect notebook that has thick enough pages with enough pages in a given notebook, and then also has the numbered pages. Like I just don't want to have to number my pages every day. Like that would drive me insane. So I don't know, like let me know if you have one that like does not have this problem, because this is driving me nuts already. But anyways, and then on the back of that pen test page, I just have some markers, and the only markers I'm using for now are my mild liners. I really love my mild liners. I happen to already have these, and one of the tenets that I set out for myself when I started this bullet journal journey was that I was not going to buy anything new to like decorate my notebook, and I was not going to be using stickers or washi to decorate my notebook, at least for like the first several months. I just really want to focus on putting pen to paper. Like I can do a little bit of color coding and decoration with these markers that I already had, but I can't buy any special brush pens. I can't buy any special markers. I can't use washi in here because I know if I start to focus too much on the decoration, then I'm going to get right back to where I was with sticker planning. So I'm trying to focus more on the functionality and just using what I have and just like keeping it really streamlined just with this little bag of markers and some pens. So that has been my goal. So here, and then this page, page 3, I left totally blank, although you can see all the horrible shadowing through it, but I left this blank. I want to put a quote here, but honestly, it was stressing me out so much when I was setting up this notebook to think about like the perfect quote and like, you know, like decorating it beautifully and having the best lettering. And I was like, you know what, skip it for now, Holly. You can come back, you can do it later, you can leave it blank forever, whatever. So I felt like that was just, I just needed to leave it blank for now for my sanity. So then into the first section. So this is what the author here calls the future log. I think that's the dumbest sounding name ever. It sounds like something like an AI computer that's trying to speak English came up with. So I just called it a 2019 overview. Basically, I put in here all of the events or reminders that I already have on my calendar for the year. So up until now, this has all been in Google Calendar, and I'll probably continue to use Google Calendar. So I don't really know how much use this will get, like I'll get out out of this. I might like nix it in like a future journal, but I decided to have it here because it is part of the method. But I don't know how much I'll really use it, but as you can see, like the months that are already here, like January, I have a lot more, and then like future months, I don't have nearly as much. So I put little calendars here just so I knew how the months fell. It's kind of a pain to draw those, but I think it's really useful to have them here for reference. So I have 2 pages of that. And I just kept it really neutral on the colors for this entire front section. I really just used black pen and my gray mild liner, as you'll see, because I just didn't want it to like clash with the rest of everything. So that's my 2019 overview. And then here I have my 2019 goals. So I actually initially like brain dumped my kind of goals, like just like had basically a brainstorm in just a separate notebook, because I knew that if I put it in here, like I just didn't want it to be too messy at first. So I kind of brainstormed out of this notebook and then put like the finished product here. And the way I approached my goals this year was I brainstormed initially how I wanted to feel and my intentions for the year. And then I used those to kind of come up with 3 goal areas. And then for each goal area, you'll see in like a future page that I basically have 1 habit and 1 task for each quarter that I want to focus on. So my 3 goal areas, the first one is being more engaged, less distracted. And then I put some sub bullets of like how that would look in practice to me. So examples are like breaking my phone addiction, being present in conversations, being able to redirect my negative self-talk, and focusing for longer stretches at work. So those are kind of like the outcomes or like the results that I'm hoping to see from this like bigger picture goals. Does that make sense? And then the second one was be more generous. And then the third one, I just want to say I would appreciate you not like commenting on this in the comments, like either positive or negative. It's very hard for me to like put myself out there like this, but you know, this is like my personal goals. This is like what I want to do. So just don't say anything, because it's kind of stresses me out. So anyways, the third one is being ready for baby, and that to me will look like organizing and cleaning out our house, losing a little bit of weight to get to a healthy weight, having a healthy sleep schedule. So that's kind of how I'm approaching my 3 goal areas for the year. And then, like I said, you'll see how I'm gonna approach like these each quarterly. I'm gonna have some goals quarterly based on these bigger kind of goal domains. So that is my 2019 goals. And then the other thing I have here, I have a 19 in 2019. I got this idea from my friend in real life who did it for 2018. And I thought this was so fun. And the idea here is that these are more kind of like fun tasks or nagging tasks that aren't really a part of your big goals. So a lot of these are fun ones. So like getting to see my college friends, doing a weekend trip to Philadelphia, hosting a gathering. But then I have some nagging tasks like hanging off of shelves. So kind of a mix here of just things I want to do this year that are like more single style tasks or events as opposed to like overall goals. And I have some blank. She encouraged me not to like force myself to think of 19 like on the first day of 2019, like let them come organically, which I thought was a really great idea. So you can see I still have some blanks here for like things that come up in the year. And then next up in my kind of annual section, I have 2019 monthly memories. I'm hoping to just write like a high level kind of just either a little journaling or a doodle. I don't know what it'll be, but something for each month. I know some people do like Polaroids, which I think is so cool, but I don't have a Polaroid. So just like some little way to capture the month. We'll see if I actually use it. And next up we have the 2019 year in pixels. And what I'm hoping to do here is to track my mood every day for the year. And I think that is, I've seen people do this on Instagram and I think it's so cool. So I decided to do one of my own. And as you can see over here, I have a key. I learned the hard way that you should definitely put your mild liner line down first and then write over it in pen. If you do it the opposite way, pen first and then mild liner, you get this horrible smearing that I have right here. So definitely going to avoid that in the future. It looks really bad, but I can still read it well enough. And so basically the idea is I have color-coded different moods, and it kind of goes from most positive to most negative, like purple to red. I like, you know, purple and blue tones better, so I made those the positive ones, and like red to me means like really bad because I hate red, so I thought that worked. And then gray is like tired or sick and like not doing much that day, so I thought that was like a decent gradient. And so the idea here is that I just put in a color for every day of the year. And yeah, it's kind of hard to like assign one overall mood to a day because I feel like I experience a range of moods. But the nice part is because I'm doing like a daily log, as you'll see when we get to my weekly section, I don't have to necessarily fill this out every day. I can kind of look back at that day and kind of remember what I did, as long as I'm doing it like a couple times a week. So I'm actually filming this like I should have done like the 9th already, but you know, I'll do it when I kind of go back and fill in stuff for the next, like the last couple days. So it's not like something I have to, like, I'd like to look at it every morning, but if I only look at it every couple days, it's fine. So that I think is gonna look really cool once I have more filled, and I'm hoping. And then next year in my, I think this is the last of my annual section. Oh, not quite. So I have here 2019 year in media. I have sections for podcasts, television, and movies. And I'm just gonna write down what I see. Like, this is the type of thing that this guy thinks is really dumb and that you shouldn't track because it's just a waste of time. But like, you know what? I think it's cool. I think it's fun to track and whatever. Like, I want this to be an encapsulation of my year. And so like this is an important part of my year because I really enjoy consuming media. And then over here I have a 2019 year in books, and this one has its own dedicated page because I do have a reading goal of 24 books for the year, so I thought it'd be fun to kind of track things as I go. You can see I've read 2 books already, and so I'm just gonna kind of write those in as I go. I track them on Goodreads too, but just having them tangible here I just think is cool. And then finally, I have a list of go-to recipes, and this is, I do a lot of meal planning, and sometimes I kind of forget like what recipes I like to use. Like I'll remember 3 months later, like, oh yeah, that's a good recipe to do. So I just kind of want to write down stuff that I find pretty easy to make, and that is kind of like my go-to recipes. So I'm gonna write those down as I encounter them this year. And then finally we have the gift ideas tracking, and this is, my concept here is that I am so bad, like it becomes Thanksgiving and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to get anybody for Christmas, and I wait till like December 17th. So I'm hoping if I kind of track ideas as they come up throughout the year that I can just put them here, and then I can refer to this like in October and I'll be totally on top of things. We'll see how that goes. And then we get into the quarterly section. So for the quarterly section, I actually only have this page, and then we go into the monthly. But like I said, I'm approaching my goals quarterly this year. I've tried to do monthly goals in the past, and I just find that to be a little bit too quick. You know, it really, for me, to build a habit, it really takes like 6 or 7 weeks, just because I always have like a week of like not really doing the habit, and then, you know, you kind of do it in earnest, and then you got to kind of make it stick. So anyways, I know they say it's like, I think they say it's like 3 weeks to build a habit. It takes me a little bit longer, I find. So that was kind of why I wanted to do quarterly, so that I actually have a 3-month stretch to focus on like one habit and get one task done. So I don't really like how I laid this page out. Like I feel like it's kind of confusing to look at. So I would probably do this differently next quarter, but it works for now. So down these rows, I have the 3 theme areas. And so you can see over here, I have like more engaged, more generous, and ready for baby. Those are my 3 like big goals, like I mentioned. And then within that, I have like a theme for the quarter. And I will admit, I kind of came up with these themes like retroactively. Like I decided on the habits and the task that I wanted to do for the month and kind of came up with a theme. But I think I would do it more prospectively, like come up with a theme first and then figure out the habit and the task that works for that theme in like for next quarter. But so here you can see for my more engaged goal, the theme this quarter is to learning to quiet my mind and change my automatic behaviors. So the habit that I'm working on this quarter for this particular goal area is meditating for 5 minutes each day. I am a horrible meditator, and I've tried it so many times in the past, and it's never really stuck, so I want to give it a go. So that's kind of the one habit, and I'm going to work on that for all 3 months during the quarter. It's not like I'll only do it for 1 month and then move on to this habit. Like that's like a continuing one for all 3 months. And then here, the task is moving social apps to a folder on my phone, so it's harder to check. And that's, you know, that task is not particularly hard. I'm trying to kind of balance some harder tasks with some easier tasks, kind of across the 3 goals. yeah, so I have like a slightly easier one, but it is, they've read that this is really helpful for like stopping yourself from like checking Instagram constantly. So I have the theme, the habit, the task, and then at the end of the quarter, I'm gonna do some reflection and talk about what worked for this particular goal and what didn't work. So I'll just give myself some space to reflect, whether it's on the habits or just this theme in general and, you know, something like that. And then same thing for more generous. My theme is small steps, big like outcomes. And then the habit I want to do is texting my mom back, because my mom texts me every day and I like never text her back because I'm a terrible daughter. And then my task is picking and setting up 2 monthly gifting contributions. Because kind of the theme here is like I want to be more generous with both my money and time. So that's that. And then finally, the ready for baby. My habit is 10K steps, which I already kind of do, but I'm in the process of switching jobs. So and I'm gonna be working from home a little bit more, so that's gonna be a lot harder to meet. And then the task is doing a big house clean out, which I've kind of been in progress already. So then for each of those, I'll be able to reflect on what worked and what didn't. And then we get into the monthly section. So I have kind of the way I do for the year. I have some like monthly stuff up front, and then we go into the weekly and daily. So in this book, he really says that the monthly is kind of like the workhorse, like when you have your monthly tasks, but I really find that I think more in a weekly way. So this monthly is kind of like, this is probably the most decorative spread in this notebook so far, and is really more for fun. And like, it's nice to have a place to do these tasks, but I often think more in a weekly format, so I'm not referring to this like every day, like he seems to imply that you might. So I am just more doing my weekly stuff, which we'll see in a minute. So, but I have this because I do like having a monthly kind of overview, but again, like all these types of events and things are really in my Google Calendar, so it's a little bit redundant, so I don't know what I'll do with this in the future. We'll see. But it is nice having it here. So, I did a Monday through Sunday calendar because that's kind of how I think of my weeks. And then I have the task down the side. I just did this ombre with just mild liners. Like again, just trying to keep it super simple. I know I can't letter, don't judge me. I'm working on it. And so that's kind of the monthly overview. And then the things that I have for monthly tracking, I have a January line a day. So I just want to like write a quick summary of my day, and that really helps me fill in the mood tracker as well. And so just kind of like writing down a thought per day. And then over here, I have my January habits, and I love doing this. I did this in the December bullet journal, and it worked so much better than any habit tracker has for me in the past, to do it this way, where you have little mini calendars, and you do that instead of doing like, a lot of people do kind of like the numbers down the side, and then you X off, and you have a bunch of habits this way, and you kind of X off each one. And, you know, if you have a ton of habits, maybe that works better. But for me, I think this lets me really see how I'm doing on an individual habit, as opposed to just like, when it's that way where you just have like a bunch of habits in a row, I think that it gets a little bit overwhelming. Whereas this, it's like, wow, I'm doing great on flossing, but I am doing terrible on meditating. So I think that it's a really helpful way to kind of focus your attention on the individual habits. You can see here I have the habits that I'm focusing on for the quarter in line with my goals right across the top. And then the other 6 are just kind of habits that I always try to focus on. And I haven't filled out the 10K steps. This tracks through Fitbit, so I just need to go back into my Fitbit app and color in the ones I've done, but I think everything else is pretty up to date. So I really, really like this, and I find this to be a really productive way to track my habits. And then down here, I have my fitness, and I put my fitness down here when I was thinking that I would not have that I was gonna try and get the entire year in one notebook. But I've kind of quickly realized that it's probably not gonna happen if I wanna use this notebook in the most productive way. Like I don't wanna have to be worrying about space every time I wanna do like a new list or something like that. So I would make this its own page next time. I really kind of hate how this looks actually. But so I'll do that differently for February, but it's fine for now. So basically what I do is I have the weeks going down the side and I track my 5 workouts. I think next month I might actually just do it as a calendar and kind of track my workouts so I can see what days I do workout, because I'm just kind of curious about that. But this was inspired by my friend that does hers like this. And I think it's kind of nice because then you can see, oh, I am getting to 5 this week, you know, which is kind of my goal for every week. But but I do kind of want to see what days of the week I'm working out. So I might do it differently next month, and next month it'll definitely be on its own page. And so that's it for January when I'm tracking. I might do either like a sleep tracker next month, or I don't know, we'll see. I just wanted to keep it fairly simple for my first month in this notebook. And then we get into the weekly section. So the weekly section is, again, not something that's really like part of the official method, but I am just so ingrained to thinking weekly that it would not make sense for me at all to go monthly to daily. Like, that is not how my brain works. So I needed a place that I would have my weekly schedule, so that I could put all my exercise, my events, any bill reminders, all of that. I wanted to have a place that I could pre-put all that in. And then I still wanted to have room to kind of brain dump my daily to-dos. So the way I've kind of concocted these weekly spreads is that I have a weekly kind of overview page, and then I just do the daily kind of bullet journal, like rapid logging style here. And this is kind of the standard kind of bullet journal. You just, you know, start a day and then you put all your stuff, and then once you're done with that day, you write in this one. But like, you don't I'm not pre-decorating these days. Like, this is like, I didn't write Tuesday until it was Tuesday. Does that make sense? So the way I'm setting up the weekly is I do have a schedule down the side, and this is pretty good. I don't really need more than 4 or 5 lines per day. And I'm just kind of keeping it like a high level overview of my events, mostly my exercise, social events, and any like personal reminders. And then here I have the weekly to-dos. So this is kind of like a good place to take a look at what I'm doing in my monthly tasks, and trying to put some of them here so that I remember to focus on them for the week. And then also for anything that's like not daily specific but comes up, I'll put it here. And I know that's kind of not like official method-y, but that's what's working for me. And then I didn't really need this full column for weekly to-dos, so I had this notes section, but obviously I didn't really use it, and I don't know. Let me know if you have an idea for how I could use this space. I guess I could doodle, but I'm not really a doodler. But yeah, I have a little bonus square. And so yeah, I just decorated it with mild liners. You can see I kind of have like a theme for the month color-wise, and I think I'm gonna keep that up. Like, I just kind of pick, you know, 4 or 5 mild liners. The colors kind of match the vibe of the month. Like, I think of January as being very frosty, wintry. So I kind of picked like purples and blues. For February, I'll probably do like pinks and reds, stuff like that. So I use those colors in my habits. I'm gonna use them in my weekly. So that's kind of the idea. So this is kind of all my tasks for that week. And then I did have this list here. Right now I'm taking some time off in between jobs. So I wanted to have a mega list of everything I wanted to get done, just kind of get it out of my brain and into my notebook. And then this is the type of thing that then I go back and I add to my index so that I can find it. So obviously I had some smearing, but I have my like time off mega list is here. And that's kind of one of the bullet journal concepts, that you can kind of build what he calls collections, which again, I think is like the dumbest name, but you can have collections wherever you want, and then you just add them to the index so you can find them later. So I just put this here, and that's kind of like something that's going on over multiple weeks, so I wanted it to have its own page. And then we get into this week. So I have, again, the same layout, kind of the schedule, some tasks, and then my daily. So the daily, I need to decide if I'm gonna use kind of side-by-side columns or not. You can see here Wednesday, I didn't want to like go over onto the last page, or onto the next page rather. So I put them side by side. I feel like all of this is really wasted space. Yeah, we'll have to see. Oh, I wanted to mention one other thing back here. So I am doing a little bit of journaling kind of as I go. I haven't really done much this week because it's been kind of a boring, just task heavy week. But like if I have like a big thing, I'm doing like little bits of journaling because I want to make sure that I'm kind of capturing just like how I'm feeling and all of that in this notebook as well. Like I said, kind of planner, tasks, and journal is the goal for here. So doing some of that in this as well, like just in the daily log. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. So my system basically is to kind of look at this in the morning, see like what tasks I want to get done from the day that I didn't get done yesterday. So this is the little migrated one. You can see I have migrated meditate every freaking day this week. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I take a look at what I didn't get done yesterday. If it can't go in the next day, I'll add it here. But if it can, I'll put it here and then I'll try to get it done. So yeah, that's kind of been my approach. I think that it has worked for me. Okay guys, my camera cut me out again, but I think I was just wrapping up this video and I just wanted to say, I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna be sharing kind of ongoing on YouTube on my bullet journal. I was thinking that maybe it would be useful, like at the end of every month, I could do like, probably wouldn't do it for January because you guys have already seen January's, but I could show you like in February, for example, I could show you kind of how my monthly calendar turned out, how I did all the habits set up and everything, and then do a flip through of my weeklies. I just think that there's nothing really, like watching me set up this single page, it would be like a 5-minute video and would be super boring. I'm not gonna do super decorative spreads like I mentioned for now. There are a lot of people on YouTube that do amazing jobs with that and I'm so inspired by them. But for me to keep this functional for now, I just need it to be mostly pen to paper, which I know is not that interesting to watch. But you guys let me know what you do wanna see. I'm happy to show it and kind of talk you through that. The only other video I have planned is once I kind of get this system working and see how it relates to my sticker system and my ring bound planners. I will do like an overview video on my whole system for planning, but that will probably be in a couple months just because I really want to make sure that I have it set. And then I'm thinking, yeah, like monthly kind of overview videos in my bullet journal. But let me know if you guys have any other suggestions. Let me know down below in the comments and I can try to make that happen if you're curious about me talking about anything. But yeah, I think this is really working for me and I am excited to kind of be doing this year. I'm hoping it can really make me focused and productive. So yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye.